have a question on how to respond to a challenge in the pro-life discussion.
Yeah.
It goes something like this. If you believe that it would be morally justified to use lethal force in defending a born child in order to protect them, why do you not believe in using lethal force to defend an unborn child in order to protect them?
Right. Okay. This is a fairly common challenge that is offered to the pro-life view. Mm-hmm. And I'll give a response to it. I'm not going to guarantee that the response is going to be satisfying to people. But I want you to see that no matter what response that I give and whether the response is satisfying or not, it has no bearing on the fundamental question of whether abortion takes the life of an innocent human being without proper justification. All this question does is it shows, if anything, if a person's not satisfied with the answer, all it's going to do is demonstrate that the pro-lifer is inconsistent.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That's all it can possibly do. You're being inconsistent. Okay, so what? Let's just say that's the truth of the matter. I'm being inconsistent. How does my inconsistency somehow inveigh against the case that we make regarding abortion? Because our argument is very simple. So I'm just going to go over it again before I go to this. I think this is a red herring. I think this is something to drag people off the track. So let me just make clear what the track is first before I go there.
Okay.
Our argument is very straightforward. It is wrong to take the life of an innocent human being without proper justification. Okay? Second, abortion takes the life of an innocent human being without proper justification. That is, the reasons people give for abortions are not the reasons that we justify taking any other human life for. Therefore, abortion is wrong. Okay? Now, that is a valid argument, and what I mean by that is the conclusion follows from the premises if the premises are true. Okay? That's where the action is. Premise 1, which is a moral claim, and premise 2, which is a factual claim. The factual claim is secured by science, that abortion kills something that's alive, and the thing that it kills is an innocent human being.
Right.
And so then the question is whether the first premise is true, which it seems to me to be self-evidently so, though people try to get around that with personhood language, etc. If a person wants to upend our point of view, rebut or deal with our point of view, they have to deal with the argument proper. They can't go to kind of psychologically satisfying objections that point to the inconsistencies that pro-lifers might be guilty of. Okay? So now that I've made that point, let's go to the challenge itself.
Okay.
I do not think that it would be appropriate, it would be moral, to use lethal force to protect an unborn child. Okay? And we are careful in our STR abortion violence statement that can be found on on the website to explain our reason for this. Okay. We think it's always wrong to take a human life without proper justification. This is tied to our argument against abortion. And that's why abortion is wrong, okay? Therefore, we should be campaigning against abortion because of what it does. But in opposing that evil, a person is only justified in using the degree of force necessary to stop the harm that is within that person's power to prevent. And therefore, one is never justified in using lethal force when other measures are available. Okay? Now, what we have to take into consideration in this particular circumstance is the big picture. And the big picture is abortion. Whenever somebody's life is taken who's involved in the abortion business, this results in more babies dying. It doesn't stop anybody from killing the baby that's scheduled for abortion. It just takes another life. And it doesn't, and arguably at least, it sets back the cause because of the capital that is made from the event. by this so-called pro-choice side. And so this is why we argue there's no circumstances in which lethal force is the only means available to end the harm of abortion, which is what we're after. And therefore, lethal means are never really justified.
Okay.
So you can find the detail there in STR abortion violence statement.
Great.
And it's the reason that we don't condone violence and the harm of abortion. And we don't knowingly associate with those who do that. And we're against that. But if somebody says, well, I think your point of view, that's inconsistent. That doesn't satisfy me. Okay, well, it doesn't satisfy you. Fine. Then you're not satisfied with my response. You don't have to be satisfied with your... The fact that you're not satisfied with my response does not nullify the argument that we offer against abortion itself, which is skillfully avoided in this kind of charge. All that you can show is that pro-lifers are inconsistent. Okay, so what? It doesn't make abortion right.